Good afternoon and welcome to Capping the Card here on Trust the Profits. This is for Assiniboia Downs for Tuesday, September 19th. It's closing week at Assiniboia Downs. And first off, we'd like to say thank you both to Assiniboia Downs and to all of our viewers for your support here on this channel. We are huge supporters of the Assiniboia Downs product. They give you so much content for free on their player portal, something that all of us as players are constantly asking for. So we definitely appreciate that. We appreciate the opportunity to be a partner with Assiniboia Downs and bring you weekly Capping the Card episodes that obviously started with Matthew DeSantis. Matthew moved on to bigger and better things. Huge shout out and thank you to Matthew for the contributions both on Trust the Profits and to this partnership and our live streams on Monday night. We had a entirely hugely popular following. The chats have been awesome. We now do this on Tuesday nights due to the NFL. So we ask all of you to join us Tuesday, September 19th for our last live show. Please like and subscribe. And for now, let's get going with Capping the Card. That's right. We're looking at Tuesday, September 19th for Capping the Card up at Assiniboia Downs. We have eight races as compared to the normal 7 races that we have been used to on Assiniboia Downs. Also, huge shout out to StableDuel for their partnerships. We try to give you a value play and a top pick here for each of the races. Race 1 is a 5.5 furlong race claiming 5,500. Your favorite is Unbroken Star, number 3. This horse is dropping down. That's obviously an angle always to be wary of. It's also a horse that is coming in second off of a layoff. And in the past, in particular, June 19th, this horse had a huge upstep when coming second off the layoff. The long layoff, June 7th, came with a 64 Brisnet speed figure, came back in that second race with an 85. On September 11th, this horse came off the layoff with a 67. So you would figure that there'll be an improvement there for Unbroken Star. At 8-5, though, I'm going to go a little bit elsewhere, and I'm going to look at the number 4, Smart Call. My reason for Smart Call is that this horse had been running at a mile and a mile 16th. This race is being run at 5.5 furlongs. Now, on August 1st, Smart Call has cut back to the 5.5 furlong distance and then came back with 2 subsequent 6 furlong races. Those efforts were much better at the shorter distance than what we had seen previously in the year, and also even going back to March and April, the figures really increased with the cutback for Smart Call. So I'm using a little bit of that distance cutback for a horse. Does like to come from off the pace. I do think he'll get enough pace in here, both from the 1, the 2, and even the number 5, Top of the Rock. So Smart Call will be my top pick in here. My value play, I'm going to go all the way to the outside for number 6, Load Abroad. And my reasoning here is I like the continued increase in speed figures. It's something that I always talk about, a horse that's going in the right direction. The last race, the speed figures dropped slightly, but that was against Kate's Princess, Chicago River, and finished the 3rd place, 6th lengths beaten. Pretty respectable effort. You're getting DeMario Bino back aboard, or aboard, I should say. And last race was an optional claimer, 10,000. So now the horse is dropping back down to 5,500. I think you're getting some good value there at 5-1 with the 6, Load Abroad. Race 2 is another claiming race for 3,000. They're going 7 furlongs, 3-year-olds and up. My first look through this race with a field of 5 was that you're getting some very similar speed figures across the board. Number 2, Magic Carpet at 8-5 is going to be my favorite. My top pick here last out was second to Exchequer. Has a 1st and a 2nd place up at Assiniboia Downs since racing up there this year, August and in September. Figures to be a little bit more forwardly placed, similar to what it was on August 21st. Magic Carpet, trained by Perry Cavanaugh, is a horse that I'm interested in here. For a value pick, I'm going to go again all the way to the outside with Out on Saturday. This is a horse who I had interest in last time and disappointed running 8th at that claiming $5,000 level. The distance here of 7 furlongs, a little bit of a cutback from that last race. This is a horse that's had success at 7 furlongs. I'm hoping the last race was just an anomaly and can get back to what this horse did 2 back, winning with Antonio Whitehall aboard. Antonio Whitehall does go on your number 1, Little Toe. My confidence in this race here is wavering a little bit. Didn't have a great read on it, but I also didn't have a lot of options for my value play, either going with the 3 or the 5. Out on Saturday will be my value play in race number 2. Race number 3 is the Winnipeg Futurity for 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs. And this, to me, is a 2-horse race. I've talked about on this show multiple times the success that Devin Giddens, the trainer, has had with these 2-year-olds. The number 4, Can You Hear Me Running? Speed figures really a tower over your 1, 2, and a 3. Has had 2 figures in the 70s, including last out earned a 79, basically going wire to wire, opening up, and was much the best in that 5.5 furlong race up at Assiniboia Downs. The 1, 2, and 3 lifetime bests are in the low 60s. So to me, Can You Hear Me Running will be a pretty good play here to spend the money on from a StableDuel standpoint. But you could also make a case for number 5, Just Let Me At Him. This horse has also broke his maiden second time out, came back in restricted stakes as a victor, and then ran second behind the previously mentioned Can You Hear Me Running. Again, this horse is also trained by Devin Giddens. I'm pretty confident with a 4-5 exacta here in race number 3. Race number 4 is an optional claimer going 6 furlongs for $15,000 for 3-year-olds and up. I'm hoping that there isn't a regression here for the number 2, Stay Happy, who's your 7 to 5 morning line. There's been quite a bit of increase in speed figures since racing up at Assiniboia Downs this season. Not necessarily the results as far as winning a couple seconds. You'll see Jeff Fafa, Damn the Torpedoes on there. Horses that have beaten Stay Happy. I think this is a race, though, where you're getting a little bit of a drop down, raced in that optional 18 level last time. Is going to be forwardly placed, showing some early speed. I don't care for shippers who are coming into Assiniboia Downs for the first time. That's what you're getting with number 3, Slats, who's 3 to 1, has done well at this distance. You'll see the allowance level races previously coming into Assiniboia Downs, but I always like to see how horses handle that travel and first time on the dirt. For value play, I think you're getting a nice value here with the number 6, Grey Admiral at 6 to 1. You're getting Antonio Whitehall aboard, which, as we know, is Sean Patrick Nolan's favorite jockey. The last 3 races, all Brisnet speed figures in the 80s. This is going to be 3rd off the layoff, so not necessarily expecting a regression in this race, especially where you got 2 coupled 80s. 3rd off the layoff might be a nice opportunity to get another step up. The horse's lifetime best of 91. This is an 8-year-old, so there's always the possibility, but I think Grey Admiral is an excellent choice here at 6 to 1, not only necessarily in StableDuel, but also pari-mutually. So we'll pay attention to Grey Admiral on the live stream on Tuesday night. Race 5 is a claiming $4,000 race going 5.5 furlongs for 3-year-old fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Number 3, Miss Z, is 9 to 5. This horse has had declining speed figures. I understand those races were at much higher levels at the optional claimer, $10,000, $15 level, $15,000 level. So obviously, if you're a fan of class drops, the 3 Miss Z at 9 to 5 would be intriguing. As someone like me that's been paying attention to speed figures, all I see is a horse that came out off the layoff with 2 81s, and since then has plummeted down to 71, 64, and 73. Not interested in the 5, whose speed figure is also a little light to me. The 6, Harlan's Commission, I think is an interesting forwardly placed horse who may be a good option at 10 to 1 for something like StableDuel. On top, I'm going to go with That's a Lot of Bling. I love that Nalt Chow angle. The speed figures are certainly right in the ballpark, being in the mid-70s. When these jockey and trainer hook up, they're hitting at 27%. Nalt is really good, bringing back horses that have won to come back and win again, actually at a 30% clip out of 64 races. That's a lot of blings going to be sitting on the outside, sitting just off the pace, being able to stalk some of those horses that are going to be right up in the lead, most likely on the inside, the 1, 2, and the 3. And that actually leads me into where I'm looking for my value play. I'm going to go with a 25 to 1 shot here for Maria Standard, owner and trainer. This horse is 3 for 7 at the distance of 5.5 furlongs. It can get back to the races back in July and August, putting up wire-to-wire victories with Jorge Carreno aboard. You do get the switch in jockey, but it's at the same level, and the 2 last races have shown the increase. So one more step forward, and I think always the little one at a nice big shot, big price, is one to keep an interest on. So the one, always the little one, will be my value play here in race number 5. Moving right along, we'll get through this card pretty quickly for you. For those of you that are short attention spans, race number 6 is a field of 7. I wrote down that this was a tough race. I thought that you could go multiple angles in here. The 1 Sweet Design last out was 15 to 1 at this level, and that was 9 to 5 on the morning line. To me, that's not a place I would want to go. Although when you get into the moment of the race going off, you're going to want to pay attention to the odds, especially parimutually. If this horse floats up, you could certainly make a case for this horse. But at least here, taping this early, we're not going to go with a 9 to 5 who is getting much better odds the last couple of races. I decided to, if you go to the outside here, the 7 Amaz Star, you're getting a pretty big jockey change for me, going from Carreno to Stephenson. No disrespect, but Carreno is obviously one of the best jockeys up here, and this horse was running really, really well under Carreno. 5 seconds, got a victory in that maiden claimer last out. Was the last race the light bulb, or was it just an anomaly? This horse had raced 11 times previously to winning. So I'm going to pass on the Amaz Star. The 5 Call the Cops, you can make a case here. This horse had been running up at allowance level. Has a long history here at Assiniboia Downs, running 27 times, but only has 2 victories. That's where I sort of went elsewhere. And for on top, I'm going to go with the 6 to 1 shot here, Guaranteed Delivery, with Timothy Tarasenko aboard for the trainer Carl Anderson. What I circled on the far right side of your past performances is just the consistency that you're getting. This horse is, always there. And so for a 6 to 1 price for a horse that's always there, has a little bit of speed that it's going to be able to run at. And the last 3 races has been a continued progression in the right direction for Guaranteed Delivery. I liked Guaranteed Delivery last out, if I remember correctly, on September 4th. This horse finished 3rd. I think you're getting a nice price here. Hopefully, a Guaranteed Delivery in a race that's pretty tough can come home. And then if it's a tough race for my value play, I have a 25 to 1 shot here for you. You're getting your best price for Shotgun 1, Jared Brown, and Antonia Whitehall. I think that's a nice step up in jockey. Whitehall ran on this horse last time. Hopefully that experience, losing to Valid Defense, ... a horse you all know that I'm very high on. Shotgun 1 at 25 to 1 is a superb play for StableDuel, in my opinion. Race 7, back to the claiming $4,000 level, going 7.5 furlongs. You have Maya Bella here, who's just a really consistent horse. You're going to get an honest effort. This horse is 11 for 12 in the money over the last 2 years. We go back to that Nault and Chow connection. This horse will be sitting just off and be able to make a nice late run. Favorite, great name for a horse in my opinion. You're getting a horse that's dropping down from the optional claiming level. Getting Fraser Abley aboard, who's running this horse 2 times this season with a win and a 2nd place. I think a 10 to 1 on favorite is a great play here. So we'll go a little bit chalky with Mybella and favorite as our value play. White Rose Spirit is a horse that always grabs my attention. This horse had some success in the middle of the season here. Last out left a lot to be desired. Favorite and Mybella. The last race for Tuesday, we get the return of Manodora, who was your Manitoba Derby winner, if you remember, on our Manitoba Derby live stream, the biggest night up at Assiniboia Downs. Went up to the Canada Derby, grade 3, finishing 7th in what we had talked about being the Canada Triple Crown. Easy for me to say. Horse returns back to Assiniboia Downs, 7-2 on the morning line with Whitehall aboard. Certainly intriguing. That horse will take more money than that, in my opinion. But you could also here go a lot of different directions. Remember, this race is being run at 1 mile and 1/8. This is the Gold Cup. The distance is certainly interesting up at Assiniboia Downs. You don't see a lot of these 1 mile and 1/8 races. So I immediately went through the past performances and looked at horses that have had success at the longer distances. And you have quite a few. The 2, Convention, has run the last 2 races over 1 mile. Big Nick has run the last 2 races over 1 mile with a victory and a second place finish. My value play is number 7, McCaig, who ran at Assiniboia Downs in the 1 mile and 1/8 Gold Cup last year, finishing 3rd. This horse has been stretching out. Started 2 races at 6 furlongs, moved up to 7.5 furlongs, then went 2nd place in the mile last out versus Del Vecchio. I'm hoping the added distance here for a trainer who is hitting at 45% in the non-graded stakes level and 25% at the route distance is just what we are looking for here with McCaig. I think you're getting some good value there. My top pick is going to be Magic Tiger, 4 for 6 at Assiniboia Downs this year. I have a bias with horses for Smiling Tiger in some of these middle tracks, and Magic Tiger is sired by Smiling Tiger and has, coming off of that victory at 1 mile and 1/16 at Assiniboia Downs, where he posted a 90 Brisnet speed figure, that absolutely puts this horse in contention for the race here. So that'll be Magic Tiger as my top pick. That gets us through all 8 races of who I think would be my top pick and value play for Tuesday. Please like and subscribe. Please join us for the last live stream of the season. It's sad that means the winter's coming, but we want to share our thanks with all of you for your support through this show, this season, and continued success for all of you as we count down towards the Breach Cup.